Hello, my name is Sam, and my presentation focuses on the CIA and its possible involvement in the Jonestown Massacre. Some historical background on the program is it was started on April 13th, 1953, by CIA Director Allen Dulles. Dulles did not want to put the U.S. at a disadvantage when it came to interrogation by foreign countries, which is why he started this program. The project focused on testing, brainwashing, and using psychological drugs on unsuspecting people. There was little or no consent given by these people, and most tests were run without medical supervision. Some historical background for the massacre is it occurred on November 18th, 1978 in Jonestown, Guyana. Jim Jones, the cult leader, after making sure everyone else was dead, shot himself instead of drinking the Flavor Aid poison. Whoever would not drink the Flavor Aid willingly were forced to or shot. Suicides were rehearsed once a week under the code named White Nights, but this was the only one that was not a rehearsal. The theory surrounding the Jonestown Massacre is that the Jonestown Agricultural Project was a large-scale experiment run by the CIA to see how many people would willingly follow someone with a bad reputation doing whatever they said, and how many years it would take to brainwash them into committing mass suicide. In this case, it was 28 years. The CIA did not like Jim Jones or his agricultural project, which may have given them a motive to use him as a puppet for this experiment. It would have also let them give Jones a bad name. Also, the cult was a strict socialist community, and he was in close contact with the Soviet Union, who they were relying on to get them out if they ever got into trouble. It was suspected that Jones was running an MK-Ultra experiment, or was part of one himself. The mass suicide was planned to see if the program worked. Those who did not willingly drink the cyanide spike flavoring were forced or shot, with either a crossbow or a gun. The military took several days to arrive. By then, most of the bodies were decomposing. The original count was 700, then 780, then 909. And in the corner, we have a picture of the compound where all these people are dead. They were laid out in neat rows. Because of the body count, some believe that the extra 280 people were murdered and placed there. Only 7 people were autopsied. And even then they couldn't say, even then they were in such a deep stage of decomposition that they could not determine whether they were shot or injected. Congressman Leo Ryan, who had been shot at the airstrip earlier that day, his assistant testified that there were covert operations in Guyana at the time. Also, the mass suicide may have been a result of the shooting of Leo Ryan, who Jim Jones feared he would now get in trouble for shooting him. The special forces in the jungle before the mass suicide were looking for Jonestown escapees who had been lost in the jungle. There was 14. The others had been shot at the airstrip with Leo Ryan, his camera crew, and the 2 pilots that were to take them out of there. This is the contradicting argument. The Red Brigade was most likely responsible for the shootings. The Red Brigade was the Jonestown personal army. There was reported heavy rain separating the troops in the town. I think that there is a possibility that the theory is true, and as much as that possibility may be true, that it's also probably not true. Here's why. There were masses of psychological drugs found in the town, enough to run a wide-scale control experiment. And if you look at MKUltra, it was all about psychological drugs, brainwashing, what happens if we do this to a person, what happens if we do that to a person, all, interrogation kind of stuff. And in Jonestown, they were able to brainwash 900 people into thinking that Jim Jones was the guy. Like, he was going to make sure that everything was okay and there was never going to be any problems. It was the perfect community. He had connections with everybody, And also, I don't think that it is true because the CIA has been known to do some shady stuff, but I don't think they'd kill 900 people to see what would happen. But maybe they would. Maybe I'm wrong. But also, Yeah, it did focus on testing and brainwashing, but those people in there were subjected to some really bad conditions. It was severe abuse. That Red Brigade took care of like anything that Jones wanted them to do. They were basically they've been described as one of the survivors as walking zombies at Jim Jones's control. And there was torture and public humiliation. There's a lot of bad stuff. So I can understand why that maybe that wasn't just suicide out of let's just follow this guy because we've got nothing left. It's probably let's just follow this guy and commit our own suicide so we can get out of here because there's no way we're leaving anyway. There's no other way out. So yeah, it could be true. It could also not be true. You know, they could have dragged the bodies. They could have not dragged the bodies. They could have used all these techniques to brainwash these people and Jones himself, and they also could have not. But I think it's 50-50 chance that it is and it isn't true. I don't lean towards any other. I don't lean towards one side more than the other. Um, but that is my presentation. So thank you.